This is BBB Radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to BBB Radio. I am your host, Nigel Britishley, and I am here to interview the number one contender to the GLCL Intercontinental Championship, Ms. Shannon Wright.
Pleasure to be here.
No, darling, the pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine, really. It is very exciting to have the next challenger to the GLCL Intercontinental Championship here in our studio. But I must say, the champion, Big S, is quite the man to beat. He's defeated so many in his path to greatness. He's been reigning since last August. So tell us, Shannon, what do you think you bring to the table that his previous challengers simply couldn't?
Well, I'd say I bring a lot to the table, especially considering he has little to no experience in Fall Guys, and I have quite a bit. So I think Big S is finally out of his element, and an even bigger S is going to come into town and take his place.
Right. Bigger S. I love that, really. So you mentioned Fall Guys as kind of a specialty of yours. If you recall your debut 3 years ago at the Mario Kart Grand Prix, it didn't go so well for you. You've been teaming, here and there with Ms. Olivia Guanther, but now your first foray into major singles competition, you think that Fall Guys is going to be the game for you? Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. It's one I have a lot more practice in, and I really enjoy playing it. I'll be practicing more with my brother throughout this week to really warm up for it. Got to be refreshed. But no, I feel a lot more confident in this. Mario Kart, I hadn't played it till the day of the tournament back then. So needless to say, I didn't exactly have a lot of expertise in it. I hadn't played since a lot of either Melee or maybe once on the Switch before then, but I'm a lot more ready now.
Right. That's very reassuring to hear. Many are clamoring for the end to Big S's reign. They want something fresh. They want something new. And speaking of something fresh and new, if you were to win this GLCL Intercontinental Championship, you would become only the fourth woman to ever hold the title. How does that make you feel?
I think more women need to be holding the title. I think it's time we take some of these men down a notch, and I want to do my best to speak and represent the women in the GLCL, because we need to take down Big S and bring up Big W, big women.
Big women, yes. I think that's very important. I think that's an important message. Yes. A lot of people say that Big S is somewhat of a chauvinist, somewhat of a player. What say you? Do you care to bring these personal insults into this?
Absolutely. He's a piece of shit.
Oh, so really the mudblinging, it's no problem to you.
No. I mean, when you have somebody that dog shit on the other end of the, playing field, you kind of have to acknowledge it. To not recognize what he is or really what he lacks would be a disservice, I think, to the tournament and to the GLCL itself. You have to call it like it is.
Right. I can't say I disagree in terms of personal character. I think that that Big S character is quite the menace, if you will. I must agree with some commentators saying he is quite possibly one of the greatest of all time. He's certainly carved out quite the corner in the history books. He's defeated a lot of legends between Sepp de Linz and Anthony Iacchivoni. So what say you? You have lots of personal animosity, but he is a technically proficient player.
Oh, I'll fully acknowledge that. He's beaten Anthony, Matt, James. It's undeniable there. I can't, speak to that. But what I can say is with his character, I'll bring him down. And unfortunately, I think his technical ability isn't going to help him here, considering how little experience he has in Fall Guys. So I think this might be where we've got him beat.
Well, I can assure you, I believe all the Shannon maniacs out there are hoping and praying for a big W from Big W. And we will be seeing if you will be taking home the title and becoming the new Big S after April 10th when all is said and done. But in the meantime, I wish you luck in your training, Shannon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll be figuring out how to be on top.
Right, right. Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today, but I really appreciate your time today, Shannon. Yes.
Appreciate it. It was nice to meet you, and I'm looking forward to the tournament.
This is BBB Radio.